It's Elite POV, coming live to your area on twitch.tv.
Let's fucking go!
We are your number one place for everything in the world of all elite wrestling. And just remember, when you're with us, you'll always be elite.
Yo, it's clear to see when you open up your feed that ain't nobody better than Elite POV. We bring the heat to your screen every week, cause ain't nobody better than Elite POV. So understand every time that we speak that ain't nobody better than Elite POV. Our 3 letters is all you'll ever need, cause ain't nobody better than Elite POV. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Elite POV, where it's podcast time, and you know what that means. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on this very special review episode of an incredible pay-per-view from this past weekend, AEW Full Gear. Ant is on vacation right now with his family, even though he is in the chat because he does not know how to take time off. We love you, Ant. Go on vacation, please.
We are rant without Ant.
My name is Phil Cataldo, but today you can call me Sick Boy because I got really sick over the weekend.
Sick
but we're
Boy's
gonna push
the worst.
through. Sick Boy is the worst. We're gonna push through for you guys because we love AEW, and there's no way I was gonna let Kyle and Jackie talk about AEW without me this week, especially with Conti having a big match. But we'll get to that. And allow me to introduce my wonderful co-host, The Draw, Jackie Rodriguez. What is up?
Up, everyone. AEW Full Gear was a freaking fire show when I finally got to watch it, that is. But it was well worth the wait. Can't wait to talk about it with all you guys.
And on the ones and twos, the producer hoot, the Canadian Prince, Kyle Masters. What is up?
That's right, producer Hoot, because I totally forgot to add the new intro to the countdown. I'm like, that's all right, guys, I got it. I got it right
Even
here.
if we were sitting here for like half an hour before he's talking.
And I forgot to put in the new intro, but I got it in now. We're good. I hope you guys enjoyed that new intro. But what's going on, guys? Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I know I did, watching that unreal pay-per-view. I don't think it could have been any better than what we got. And AEW just continues to raise the bar when it comes to these pay-per-view events. And they hit another grand slam home run with Full Gear. And I cannot wait now for 2022. It just looks like it's just going to keep getting... It's just going to go up higher and higher now. I don't understand. I don't know where this bar is going to end. It just keeps going higher and higher after every pay-per-view.
Yeah, remember it All Out? We were like, best pay-per-view ever. Nothing's going to top that. A couple months later, Full Gear comes around. You're like, best pay-per-view ever. Nothing's going to top that. It's just a great time. It's a great time to be an AEW fan because they're hitting on all cylinders. And shout out to Kerry. I want to start off the show right there. Your boy won. Hangman won that belt. No one between Kerry and Rob. That moment was for them. Day one, Hangman fans. That and also Carrie with the line of the century. She texted me as soon as the pay-per-view was over. And shout out to her because she's from the UK. So it was probably like 4 a.m. for her.
God.
But she texts me and goes, and that was the end of phase 1 of the AEW universe.
Wow.
Cool.
That's a good point.
Okay.
It's a very, very good point because everything that they've done so far has led up to Hangman versus Kenny for the title. And we're going to start right off there. And I'm going to Kyle first because Kyle was talking a lot of shit last week. Right?
Okay.
He wanted to see the world burn. He didn't want any of us to be happy and have our treats.
Let's pump the brakes or, easy, boy, easy. I wasn't talking shit. If we can always go to the replay of the Master Plan, my debut, where we talked about this match, and I said that I would be happy to see Hangman win, but I went with my gut, and I got, of course, being a massive Kenny Omega fan, I had to go for my boy, and I was just telling these two right before the show, there was a small instant in that match where I'm like, I think Kenny's going to win. That's when the Bucks came out. When the Bucks came out, I'm like, here we go. Kenny's going to win for sure, and as soon as I got the first nod from Nick, I'm like, okay, it's over. I knew right then and there, bam, Hangman was good. They're going to do this. They're going to go to the other side. Matt was going to do it. Sure enough, it happened. Delivers the second buckshot lariat and 1, 2, 3. amazing. I love the whole thing they did after too with the Dark Order and the small thing
My
that
heart.
I saw a lot of people miss. I don't know how you didn't miss when Alex went to hand him the beer and Hangman
Yep.
slapped it out of his hand and said, nah, no beer anymore. You guys, gave
Yep.
in for a big group hug.
People missed that. I think
Yeah, I don't
that
know
was
how people
pretty
missed
obvious.
that.
I read
Yeah,
a
it
lot
was,
of
like,
comments
zoomed in.
today that people missed that. I'm like, how'd you miss that? That was like
I
the
don't know.
best part of like their whole celebration. He slapped the beer out of
Yeah.
their hands.
And it's so much like minor storytelling that like all the background stuff. If you watch BTE, if you watch, the countdowns, if whatever, all these things, social media, and how Hangman, his character has always been unsure of himself, and he's always turned to alcohol as a way to cope with it. So the perfect thing, I don't like, just like you guys say, I don't know how the hell you missed that. Like it was like front and center.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great moment to see the full Dark Order with Anna Jay there, because remember, for a lot of that run, Anna Jay was out on injury, so it's cool to see Anna Jay was also in that moment. They share a big hug. They hold Hangman up on their shoulders, which is it's so cool about AEW because leading up to it, right? Everybody's fantasy booking it for the last couple months, right? Hangman goes out to have a kid at All Out. Everyone's all right. It's happening at Full Gear. We're fantasy booking it. And it almost went perfectly to what everybody wanted, right? Even down to the Dark Order coming out. But Jackie, I know you shed some tears when you were finally able to watch
I
it.
shed a
because
lot.
Bleacher Report. Oh, no, you got to watch that live. You were
That
able to
I
catch
did
it
get
live,
to watch
which
live.
is
Yeah.
good. But what did you think? And explain to us how much you actually cried.
Oh my God. So I actually thought that because I had my brother and my sister-in-law with me that I was going to try to tough it out and not cry.
Mhm.
But yeah, that failed completely. That match was insane. There were so many close calls, and there were honestly a lot of points in the match where I was like, oh shit, Kyle's going to be right. And Kenny's going to end up retaining. They played that out so beautifully because while it may have come across as a predictable outcome, they made it in such a way where you questioned it every step of the way. It could have gone either way. And when the Young Bucks came out, I was literally screaming at my TV. I'm like, you better. I'm like, I was ready to like blacklist the Young Bucks forever because I'm like, if you get involved in this match, you're dead to me.
You didn't completely blacklist them for coming out with purple beards?
Pink.
Nah,
Pink
that
beards.
was great. That part of it I popped
Christ.
for. But yeah, just seeing that final payoff, and I know you shout out Kerry and shout out Rob for being day ones. I am also on the day one Hangman. Adam Page wanted him to win at All Out, the original, title match. But it was just so surreal. And seeing him like take that moment in, I'm a big old sap. I got so emotional. And it just felt, I really allowed myself to feel that moment. So glad I was able to witness that match live as it happened because it was epic and it was beautiful.
And we got Ant in the chat right now saying the seal of approval, like the Bucks last year were in Kenny's corner because they didn't think Hangman was the man. The nod was affirmation that it was his time. The story is so perfect. And it was like the nod heard around the world, right? It's just such a little thing, right? That if you look away for a second, you miss it. But if you're paying attention to all the little details, like Ant said, it just perfectly wraps the story up so beautifully. And it's just so awesome. And to me, that's what got me emotional was the nod, because you understand the weight behind that, right? You understand the story elements to that. And listen, even down to the Kenny stuff, the promo that he cut before Full Gear last week on Dynamite, where he was like, I don't know, maybe we'll be friends one day. Like, this is clearly like they're not heated enemies, right? Like, this is something that happened, but they're still friends. So like the Bucks like kind of giving him his moment, like, hey, this is your time. You earned it. Like, we're still friends. We're just, not really agreeing right now. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then now it just makes you think, what happens now? Where are they going to go from here? And I have so many questions, and I thought we maybe get like a little tease on BT today. BT was great if you guys haven't checked it out. And if you're not watching BT, I don't know what you're doing with your life because BT is literally the best internet show, and it's for free for you guys to watch on YouTube. They had like a lot of funny stuff. They showed like Matt and Nick putting the pink in their beards and Nick like almost choking to death from the spray paint. You get the Cutler footage from a lot of the matches that happened at Full Gear. And then they had like that video at the end of like Hangman winning and then changing the nameplate on the title belt.
Made me cry, bro. Did you cry watching it?
See, guys, don't take this the wrong way. I'm not saying I'm not a Hangman fan. It's just, I'm a Kenny Omega, Sean Spears, those are my dudes. I would cry if it was like a moment like them. Like when Kenny first won the belt.
So you're saying
I know he was
so
a
you're
heel.
saying you only like Canadians. Is what you're saying. Because you just think
God.
Ethan Page.
Well, hold up. See, I teared up when CM Punk came back. Confirmed. I
Okay,
was in the chat with a bunch of people, including Jackie. She was there. I did tear up when that happened. So, and
True
CM
story.
Punk is one of my like childhood heroes. I followed his entire career. But when I saw that, I was happy. I felt emotion. I didn't tear up. Takes a lot for me to tear up, to be honest. But I felt the emotion of that, and like even seeing his reaction when he first looked at that belt with his name on it, and his first world champion, his first world championship of his career. So, it was awesome to see. But I'm curious to see now what happens from here, because does Kenny get pissed at the Bucks? For those, there was 2 opportunities where they could have stopped Hangman.
Well, did you hear the rumor that Kenny might be taking an extended amount of time off because he's dealing with like some pretty serious injuries that he's been working through? He might need surgery.
Yeah, and that too. Much respect for Kenny's reign. Half of his reign was during the COVID era. He had to carry that belt and make it as prestigious as he can, being Kenny Omega through a COVID era. And then when we came back, had to kind of fast track that momentum to make that championship as prestigious as possible for this moment right here. It was his title reign was a buildup of this moment right here. This was all leading to Hangman winning. There was no other person in line after Kenny. It was always going to be Hangman. It's been Hangman since day one. So props to Kenny Omega for being the longest reigning AEW champion so far.
No, it's Sheeta.
Sorry, world champion.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The men's belt. World champion so far.
Yeah.
Longest reigning. So we'll see what happens with Hangman, but I'm very curious to see what happens here. I want to know if Kenny is going to be pissed, and if he needs to take an extended leave of time. Maybe they just do like a segment where, like the Bucks are trying to talk to Kenny, and Kenny's just like, no, and leaves the building. And then we don't see him for a while, and he goes and heals up. Because there was a video. I don't know if you guys seen this guy. Very famous YouTube chiropractor has done a work on a lot of wrestlers and a lot of famous people. So he did a Kenny one. I still have to watch it because Carrie sent me the video and I still haven't watched it yet. But he did Kenny Omega a few days ago. I think it got released on the 11th. 11/11, which is funny.
Yeah. It's all connected.
But he did Kenny Omega, and he did a lot of work on Omega. So I'm assuming he's got some nagging injuries, and it was a lot in his neck and shoulder, which we've seen before when he's wrestled those that suction cup therapy, whatever that's called.
Yeah.
So if he does have lingering injuries, I mean, he should take some time off to heal those, because what a reign, and he's had to carry that belt and go through match after match and still defend it. It's better to have a fully healed Kenny when he comes back, and whatever they decide to do with him, whether they decide to go the CM Punk route.
It'd be cool to do something different, like just to let somebody else get some of that time that Kenny was getting a lot of time on TV. So let somebody else get that time. He heals up, and then hey, maybe we get Kenny and Punk at Double or Nothing, or we can kind of see what happens. But there's another match that I want to jump to. And it's my personal favorite actual match. I think the best moment, we can all agree, is Hangman winning the belt. But I think from bell to bell, my favorite match of the night was MJF versus Darby Allen.
Oh, man.
Now, Jackie, what did you think of this match?
Okay, so on the first watch, I wasn't really feeling it. And it didn't take until the second watch, I would say, where I started really noticing more of the nuance in the match. Because when I first watched it, I was like, wow, this match is being conducted primarily like at MJF's pacing, and you're just so used to Darby like throwing caution to the wind from the minute the bell rings to the minute, somebody's counted 3 on the mat. So yeah, I was actually like really surprised on the second watch through that I was like, damn, this was a really good match. Because at first I was like, AEW has that signature of opening every show with a really fire match. And so I don't know if it was that I was judging it more or less against that formula, where I was like, it didn't feel like the greatest opening match. But for 2 younger guys, I can't really think of many situations where it's 2 of the I guess the pillars or the the younger guys.
Pillows.
Not
pillows.
Two
not
of
the
the
pillows.
pillows.
Sorry, Jim Ross, but that was bad. But yeah, so it was like there wasn't a more experienced competitor in the match to rely on to carry the match. So it was just the two of them. And I think that there were a lot of spots where I was like, damn, that was really good storytelling there. MJF sold the shit out of that knee injury when he did the pile driver on the ring apron. That was classic. I loved that. But yeah, I think, for what it wasn't my favorite match on the card, but it was a really surprisingly good match between two of them.
That was
What'd you
longer than I
think,
thought.
Kyle?
That was a lot longer than I thought that match was
It was a
gonna be.
30-minute match.
Yeah, I was sitting there at the clock and I had my buddy, not this Phil, but no cell Phil, I call him, which we got confused in a group chat about this because people thought I was referring to this Phil. But I looked at my watch. I'm like, dude, this match is about to cross the 28-minute mark. And I'm like, this is insane. And they're opening the pay-per-view. I didn't think this match was going to open the pay-per-view. So I thought it was going to be the tag team championships. I thought that match was going to open the pay-per-view. I sat there in the pre-show going, I think it's going to be a tag team titles because Lucha Brothers and FTR, they're going to get the crowd absolutely hyped as hell for a tag team match. But this match did it. And my God, did these two ever put on the match to prove why they're known as the pillars for this company. This match right here, if everyone asks what makes MJF or Darby or Sammy Guevara or
Jungle Boy
the pillars of this company, you show them this match. You show them this match, and you make them watch it from start to finish because they absolutely showed why they're the pillars in the future of this company. Both men put on an exceptional match, and my boy MJF got it done. Just and like I said.
Yeah, you were right. And to me, the funny thing is, like, I don't know about you guys, but, every week on Dynamite, I'm always like, there's no way a match is going to get cut. There's no way they're going to have enough time. They're going to go over. It's always, and then with this pay-per-view starting with a 30-minute match, 2 30-minute matches, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that it's going to go to like 1 a.m. It's a pay-per-view, right? They don't have to stop at midnight. There's no way. And they still, like, the timing that Tony Khan has and whoever's helping him back there with the match timing is like literally perfection because it is to the second. Because the fact that you open a 4-hour pay-per-view with a 30-minute match, that's not even for a title, a 30-minute match, and you still have the time to do everything that you have to do with the celebration in the end, in your last match, your most important match. Just kudos to everybody involved.
They ended it at 11:59, like on the dot.
Yeah, it was real close.
I looked at the watch and I'm like, oh my God, this pay-per-view ended at 11:59, right in the dot. I'm like, they nailed it. They nailed everything in this whole entire pay-per-view, especially with match times. And I thought I was going through and I'm looking through and I'm seeing that second to last match, the Inner Circle and the America's Top Team, where I sat there going like, this may be a little bit too long. But then
maybe.
I didn't think it was going to be that long. It ended up being longer than I thought, but they still did put on a decent match. But yeah, that beginning match, that was
absolute fire.
Yeah.
And like you said, perfect proof to what AEW is, right? People, I've seen a lot of talk on, Twitter the last couple of days, and it's like, all the WWE guys. You have the 2 started the show, the 2 ended the show, not WWE guys. And you have WWE guys in the middle. I mean, they're super talented. You're gonna hire people if they get released. Doesn't matter where they come from. If they're talented, whatever. But you bookend your show with homegrown talent, right? Yeah, Kenny was from Japan, but still, like, he's like AEW heartbeat. You know what I mean? So it's
half
like
of WWE's roster are not even are from other places. Like their argument doesn't matter.
Like, just watch the show. Stop finding fucking ways to hate it.
Yeah,
craziness. But now, you did bring it up, and I know it's a match that we all dread talking about. So we might as well just get it over with now.
Oh, God.
Inner Circle versus American Top Team. Now, listen, okay? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I fell asleep the night that Full Gear happened, and it's because of this match. Now, no disrespect to anybody involved in the match. I just really couldn't care, and Kyle hit it right on the head on last week's show, saying that they were going to be the match before the main event.
The cool down match.
The cool down match before everybody gets up for the main event. Which I don't know if you guys, and we could talk about this too. The crowd did seem to lose steam about midway through the show, and then started to pick up towards the end. So I'm happy they had a cool down match before the main event.
And it's right.
But
Issa, our girl Issa got shown singing Judas.
oh yeah, that was the best part of the match. Is Issa,
Quite
the
possibly,
Demon
yes.
Diva herself,
No.
singing.
No. You guys are both wrong. The best part of the match was the ending of the match. Not to say like finally it was over. The massive respect and tribute to Eddie Guerrero and ending the match on a frog splash, no doubt. There's always people that pay tribute. They do the Three Amigos. There's a frog splash in other matches, but that match doesn't end there. But the fact that they end this match with Jericho pointing to the heavens, doing the frog splash and winning with that frog splash, boom. Perfect.
And we saw that a lot throughout the night, right? We saw Nyla Rose do a frog splash, do the great women's match in the pre-show. We saw the Three Amigos in the tag team match done twice by Dax, and then was it Penta that did it?
Yeah.
And then so that was
Phoenix did the
awesome.
frog
But
splash, there was little tributes all throughout the night. Can't believe it's already been 16 years, guys.
I know,
And
crazy.
it was
Makes you
in,
feel old, right?
and to make it even crazier, Eddie Guerrero died in that city 16 years ago on Full Gear's night.
Wow.
Oh, really?
I didn't
what-
even realize that was the same.
Yeah.
It was the same city. That's
Same
insane.
city.
It's almost
nuts.
like it's meant to be, right?
Yeah, and
These
that's
moments in time.
that's what made it even more special to me too, because my buddy, and I didn't know at the time, and when Jericho did that, my buddy looked at me and goes, this was the city that he died in. And I'm like, what?
Jeez.
I'm like, oh my God, like that just, and then there wasn't another celebration, but just Sammy and Jericho embracing and pointing up and looking up. I'm like, perfect,
right? And Jackie, unless you want to say something about this match, that's all we need to talk about this match.
pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty-
I mean, like I said, like to you guys earlier, I feel like the match to me, the highlights were in the last like maybe five minutes of the match. Sammy diving off that freaking ladder,
doing the Jeff Hardy spot.
Holy shit! I freak out every time somebody does one of these high spots, but it's just like when you're getting on the top of a ladder and you see that thing like rocking back and forth, crazy. So between
Can you imagine being Aubrey and Jericho in that moment, like holding the ladder and looking up and watching the ladder like sway because he's trying to get his balance, and you know that like you need to hold on to this ladder with all your body weight.
Where do they get these big ladders from?
No,
These are
no
huge
freaking
ladders.
pressure. Santana throwing himself out into the audience, that was freaking crazy too. So it's like those moments were like the big moments to me. Everything else was just like, I've been very vocal about how I felt about this match. I don't need to say anything more. It was too long. That's what I'll say.
Well, listen, we got through it. It served its purpose. Now we can move forward, hopefully, with different things for these guys. But to make up for talking about this match, Jackie, let's get into your boys, our boys. FTR versus the Lucha
Pinnacle,
Bros
baby.
for the tag team championships. Incredible match. Jackie, I want to start with you. What did you think?
That match I think I've watched the match at least 3 times since yesterday afternoon. Freaking unbelievable. For starters, the robes, the FTR robes. Where can I get one of those? Because those were freaking badass. I loved them. I loved that touch every time that it's like, okay, now this, like when you get those big match situations, like bring out the special gear, Tully with that freaking black and gold jacket, fire. But to me, it was just like right out the bat, it's just like you have 2 of the most cohesive tag team units in the company, perhaps in wrestling, you can argue. They're just always so in sync. Everything feels like effortless with these guys. I know a lot of people like to use the term chemistry when it comes to FTR, and they like to say, oh, well, FTR has chemistry with this team, with that team, with the other team. And I remember an interview they did a while back where they were saying, it can't be chemistry with everybody, brother. It's just either you're great or you're not. And freaking FTR is the most adaptable team out there.
Yep.
You have the Lucha Brothers, their style. And shout out to the Lucha Brothers too. I know I'm a big old FTR mark, but the Lucha Brothers.
I wouldn't have thought.
I know you wouldn't have thought by my, my Superana shirt.
Yeah.
No, the Lucha Brothers are like, they fully displayed why they are in the top spot of that company. But something interesting happened in that match. And this is so you could see when heel work is great heel work. Me being the FTR mark that I am, you would think that it's like I'm praising them the entire time. I absolutely want them to win. They healed it up so well in that match that somewhere in the midway point, I think it was probably just after Cash hit, was it Penta with the belt?
Mm-hmm.
And Dax goes for the pin, and I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like, not like that. Like, I was like livid. And I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm like, oh my God, that's the best feeling when you're getting completely sucked in to like what the story they're trying to tell. Freaking incredible match. The only thing I will say, the ending felt
There was no
slightly...
picture in picture. Don't even start.
Thank God for that. But the ending felt slightly anticlimactic.
I liked it though.
The
You
Super
didn't like it?
Ranas, man. They made an appearance. And they pinned the wrong person. So your boys have a gripe with this match that they pinned the non-person.
Rick Knox has never seen a tag made in his entire life. All right.
And I'm like, come on, for like believability purposes, we all know that Rick Knox is the blindest ref in the history of. Like,
you leave
AEW.
him alone. You leave my boy Rick Knox alone.
Yes,
I interviewed him one time.
Blind, Kyle. How do you not see, for one, Cash's hair sticking out the back of the mask?
He's my referee. I'm in his pay pocket.
How do you not see this freaking big ass tattoo that Cash has on his shoulder?
There's a lot going on. There's like 3 masked guys in the ring.
No,
it's a lot of confusion.
You know what it was? I guess I thought too far ahead, and when that happened, I thought Rick Knox was going to notice, and he was going to be like, "Yay, what the hell, wrong guy."
Going to notice. Rick Knox has never noticed anything.
And I thought the match would continue from there. And then the ending move felt like it just fell a little bit flat to me, especially because the match was so fire the entire time. I'm not saying that it took anything away from the match. I'm not saying that I completely hated it. It just didn't feel.
They could have done a better job of doing that, maybe.
It almost felt like they were calling time, and they're like, guys, you gotta like finish this shit. We're like running out of time. And then
because like we said earlier, bro, they're on the ball. You got
the
21 minutes, not 22 minutes, not 20 minutes. You got 21 minutes.
Right.
The camera work didn't help either because like I didn't see who got rolled in the ring. It was Cash who got rolled into the ring, but we didn't see Dax at all. I'm like, I thought we would at least see Dax come up on the apron with a mask on as well. But like Dax stayed hidden underneath the ring and kind of looked like I know what was going on, and Tully looked confused as all hell. And I'm like, and then they did the 3 count. And I'm like, oh, that's how we're doing it. And then he pulled the mask off. Then I was like, oh, the illegal man got pinned. So now they have a gripe.
The story.
Yeah. And then they're going to face each other at Triple Mania in December for the AAA belts.
Yep.
Which is interesting now. Are the Lucha Brothers going to win both belts?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot to look forward to. And it was an incredible match, right? Like everything Jackie said is 100% true. Dax is just so goddamn good. Like it's in everything he does. It's unreal. But Kyle, what did you think of the match?
I thought it was an insane match, and Jackie nails it right in the head. Like the FTR are one of the best teams in the world for a reason, because they can adapt with any team out there. That's what makes you a great tag team. If you can't adapt to every team and have a great match with any kind of team, then you're an all right tag team. It's not your thing. But because FTR are on that, now pun intended, they're on that elite level, they can produce great tag teams with any style of wrestlers, high flyers like the Lucha Brothers. If they had a match with, say, Bear Country, big bruiser type characters, I'm sure that they can have an amazing match with those that kind of style of a tag team. If they had matches with the Young Bucks in the past, and Young Bucks are kind of like a hybrid style of like high flying and ground game, and they still have an insane match together, an insane chemistry. So FTR and the Lucha Brothers, I think they produced a really good match. I still think the all-out match between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers is still the best Lucha Brothers match to date.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It'll be interesting to see where they go from here now, especially because what they did at the end. FTR does have a gripe with the ending of that match. I don't know if that's going to be used to have FTR put over the next number 1 contenders. So I think that'd be a smart way to do it. Have FTR say like they should be number 1 contenders, and have this other team come in and say, no, maybe they won a couple of matches and they're number 1 ranked. and they have a match for like the number one contendership, and then that makes FTR put over whoever, and they're in the chat. Proud and Powerful might be that team, and we might get FTR and Proud and Powerful maybe on like the first Dynamite on TBS for the number one contender, and that number one contender goes on to Revolution to face the Lucha Brothers, and that being
which
Proud and Powerful.
Phil and I will be in the house for that.
So
hell yeah, because Jackie's the best.
That's how I would
Jackie's
book it
the absolute
personally. So, but I love the match. It was amazing. And it got me though.
Oh yeah, it did. Now listen, I can't wait no longer. All right, I was gonna do this a little later, but I can't wait no longer. I need to talk about it. All right, Conti versus Brit Baker. And first of all, before we even get into the match, good and bad entrances. Let's talk about how just perfect Ty Conti's entrance is. You want to make someone look like a megastar. You want to make somebody stand out and look super cool. You have that entrance. She comes out with the half American, half Brazilian flag, very similar to Thunder Rosa, right? Yeah. With the makeup on. Just it was perfect. I see Jackie right here. I'm gonna steal one of your notes, right? That I'm looking at right now. If MMA like, right? It did it very much feel MMA like, which I thought was incredible. And as the Ty Conti guy, it's the best she's ever looked. And I've given Brit Baker a lot of shit because she's not the best wrestler. She's the best character, best at finding cameras. But she brought something out of Ty Conti that just brought her to a whole nother level, right? And I think the best thing that AEW does is, and I was thinking about this all day when thinking about the matches. So, like, if I had to bet my life, I would have bet that Brit Baker was going to win, right? In the 2.5 years that AEW has done this, and what we saw in the main event, whenever there's a title change, there's somewhat of a story attached to it that goes longer than a few weeks, right? And this Ty Conti Brit Baker thing has only been going on for a few weeks, so it's not long enough to see a title change. But with all that being said, and this is why I love AEW so much, is they got me. There were moments in that match that I was like, Ty Conti's gonna fucking win, because like the way that they booked the match, the way the match flowed, every time Brit tried to cheat to win, Ty would find a way out of it. She kept getting out of the submission and all this stuff. And it was like, oh my God, she's going to win. To the point where like when the match was over, like I needed like a second because I got like pretty sad that she didn't win, even though like I predicted she wasn't going to win. But, everything from that moonsault she hit, which is like, come on. And then we see on Twitter afterwards that Sammy Guevara was helping her with the moonsault. And that's why she did it. And it's just like, I'm so proud of her and so happy for everything that she's doing. And it's just like, it's awesome to see that they're giving different women the chance to shine. We saw Statlander versus Brit Baker at All Out. And now we got to see Ty Conti versus Brit Baker. We got that great women's match, like I said on the pre-show. So, I mean, listen, that AEW women's division is fantastic. And other than Ruby Soho, it's all the women that have been here from the start. So it's great to see. But Kyle, you're also a huge Ty Conti fan. So what did you think of this match?
I'm a huge Tay Conti fan. I've been a fan of her. Like, if there's actually still YouTube videos of me reviewing the the women's
Mae Young Classic,
the Mae Young Classic, and me hyping Tay Conti and being a mark throughout that entire tournament for her. But yeah, you nailed right in the head. Like, even her entrance, that was insane. That was so well done. And the fact that like the face paint, making it a big fight feel, the gear that's inspired with the Brazilian colors, she nailed it right on to make this championship match a big fight feel. And they both did. You had Britt come out with the guitars from Fozzy that played her theme song. So far, I've not really been impressed with the whole instrumentals that they've been doing with entrances. I think they've sounded a little.
Oh yeah, dude,
they sound a little off.
The same guitarist. It was the same guy from Fozzy.
Yeah.
Okay, so like
it went a little better this time though, because it wasn't completely a cappella. There was her theme was playing, and he was just sort of playing over it. So at least he was able to keep time. But I was saying, oh my God, as soon as I saw a guitar player, I'm like, please don't let us have a repeat.
Listen,
of Jericho's
and this isn't really a knock on him. All live music being played to the ring is usually bad because there's like a delay in the sound reaching everybody and then reaching the telecast. Like there's that like split second delay. So it always throws it off. Plus, like you hear the same intro every week, right? Like you hear her intro every week. You know how it goes. You know she's supposed to be at this point when the song, like Adam Cole,
you know
right?
what they should do then?
Here.
I have an
What?
idea. You know, they should do a live version of it, but record it. Have it recorded in like a studio and have it playing on the screen with Brit Baker in it. Then she makes her entrance. You know what I mean? Like she walks away from the stage and it's her walking into the arena. They could have done something like that. I think that would be really cool. But as for the
Jerseyed in the chat saying he wants to see Ty versus Serena Deeb. That match happened earlier this year.
Yeah, go back and watch that. It's dope.
Yeah.
But this match itself, you nailed it too when you were saying that AEW's been great. We'll do great things in a championship match where you know it's going to be one side, you know, like the champion's going to retain, but they'll make you think that the other opponent could win at times during the match. And there was so many times in this match where I turned to my buddy Phil and I went, "Yo, Brit might lose the belt tonight. This might be like the big shock of the night, and we might get a title change here." And he was at me. He's like, "Nope." But I was like, "Dude, but look what just happened." Like she just pulled off a moonsault and she took Brit to the limit. I think this was been Bret's best match when she as champion and probably in all of AEW. I've never seen Brit have a better match. Close to the Thunder Rosa match, but that's like on another level because they went hardcore and they started using every weapon in the book. But this has been the best wrestling match that Brit's had in AEW. And Tay Conti, like you said, she went to another level with this match as well. She took it to another level. We've seen how good Tay Conti has been. I think she was that good plus in this match. She went to that next level, and now I would do it. I would say it right now. I think Tay Conti is the second best wrestler in this company. And I'm still putting Brit ahead of her. I know in the ring, I still think Tay Conti's a lot better in ring. But overall, Brit's still going to be number one right now. She's red hot no matter where she goes.
If we're going overall, right?
Yeah.
I would probably, even though I love her, I'd probably still put her like third or fourth because you got to put Serena and you got to put Thunder Rosa above her.
Serena's just in ring for me, though. She's not done anything for me to believe anything else. Like,
I guess character-wise not. But and Jermaine in the chat, how much for Phil to wear the same face paint that Tay wore? Listen, I will make everybody this promise right now, but you have to remind me because I will forget. The next time I meet her, I will do that face paint.
If we get to 1,000 Twitter followers, get us to 1,000 Twitter followers, Phil will do it for one episode.
Jeez.
Oh, 100%. I need to figure out who's going to do it for me because I don't know how to do makeup.
You got a wife. There you go. Just go to her makeup tree and be like, "What can you do for me, Brit?"
No,
she's not a makeup person. I got a sister-in-law who's big into makeup. She'll do it for me. She'll do it for me. If we get to 1,000 Twitter followers before the end of the year, our first show in 2022, I will do it.
Go somewhere where they do makeup and be like, "What can you do for me? Come on."
If I lived closer to you, I would do it.
Yeah,
but
well,
you know.
Yeah, you're pretty good. You're pretty good at makeup, I think.
We can get to that the Nork show like 8 hours early, and you can sit there in the parking lot and be like,
It won't take 8 hours to do that. That's pretty basic stuff, but.
Sorry.
Anyways,
but what did you think of the match, Jackie?
But yes, overall, I thought that this was Tay Conti's best showing completely. She just I'm so proud of her. And that sounds like such a weird thing to say because she doesn't know me from like a freaking hole in the wall. But to see the way that she's progressed after knowing what she went through and the depression that she hit when she was let go from the WWE. And then that feeling of like, how am I going to, recapture that lightning in a bottle? And she's done it tenfold. And that's because she's been given the platform to do it. And it's not a knock on Brit. Obviously Brit is the champion and, she's in the top spot for a reason. But I just felt like this was Tay Conti's moment. Like this was her arrival. And it was an absolutely beautiful thing to see. The only thing I will say is that every time that a really spectacular women's match happens like this, it really exposes the lack of matches like this on the regular. It shouldn't have to wait to a pay-per-view for us to get these fire matches. These women are capable. They are so talented. And just given the platform, can we get more than one women's match at Dynamite?
Yeah, please.
Can we get more than one women's match on the actual card for an AEW pay-per-view? I know that that's a constant, criticism that we hear back and forth, but it's just like when you see something this great, you want to see more of it. So that's my only dear AEW task. Like, please give us more of these women's matches.
That's one thing they're going to have to be careful, AEW, is now that they have a massive, I won't say massive roster, but they have a lot of talented people now. The roster consists of a lot of talented people. They're going to be treading waters where, okay, we're going to have to start not booking some talented people on pay-per-views because we're going to have too many. And if we try to book it all in one show, it's going to get oversaturated. We might get to a point like that. I don't believe AEW can get to an oversaturated point because it looks like they can, but they knock it out of the park like this pay-per-view. If you look at this pay-per-view from the outside, there's a lot of talent on this pay-per-view where you could have gone in and said, man, they're going to do a 4-hour show. This might be oversaturated, but they did a good job at delivering properly. But now that, like, you know, the Forbidden Door key is getting open when things get back to normal, look at this. They just brought in Jay Lethal. We don't know who else from New Japan might make the jump. Future WWE
That's
stars
a huge
making a jump.
Jay Lethal is fucking awesome.
And then the future WWE stars that are predicted to come over, like, they're going to get to a point where they're going to have to stop booking main event talent on the show. And in order to do that, and I agree with having more women on the show, they're going to have to start making those sacrifices sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and they should. There's absolutely room for it. Not every, there's a lot of talent, but not every talent has to be featured on a pay-per-view. I don't think it's asking too much to add a second.
It's like NXT takeovers, right? It's you put the best stories on the card that you need to do, and then stuff that just like the Orange Cassidy versus Matt Hardy thing, right? Like you do that on Rampage. There's reports that it was supposed to be on the card, but it got taken off due to time restraints, and it's like good because that match doesn't belong on this card, right? That match doesn't have the hype that any of these matches, even the Inner Circle versus Americans Top Team, had more hype than that match. So, like, I agree with both of you, 100%. They're gonna have to start making some tough decisions, and we're gonna see a lot bigger matches on Dynamite and Rampage leading up to the pay-per-views to give people some time. And listen, stop putting the women on the pre-show. Right? Like, I didn't want to see that second women's match on the card and put one of these other matches on the pre-show.
I do have a gripe about that. AEW does the pre-shows a lot better than what we're used to in WWE. WWE's pre-show is a demotion. Pre-shows in AEW are a way to get pay-per-view buys and to hype the show. And AEW's done a fantastic job at putting on pre-show matches to get you hyped for the show. And the purpose of this pre-show was to highlight the TBS Championship, which they mentioned throughout the entire pre-show. They did not shut up about the TBS Championship, which is what you're supposed to do in building up these 4 women, because the two were, they're facing each other in this next round. I was okay with them being in the pre-show for that purpose. And if you look at all the other pre-shows they've done and their other pay-per-views, they've all been high-level matches to get people to buy the pay-per-view and to see what all AEW is all about, because it is free on YouTube. And for someone maybe new to AEW and is hesitant on buying the pay-per-view, they'll go to that and watch it first, and that will sell them on the rest of the pay-per-view.
No, 100% right. I just want to see some of the guys in that spot. And let that women's match come to the card. But speaking of big matches that were on the card, Super Click versus Jurassic Express. Now, what a war, right? What a great match.
Yeah.
A lot of great spots, right?
There's only one moment. There's only one moment in this match that sticks out to me out of everything in this match.
What was that?
It's Luchasaurus doing a shooting star press.
Oh my god!
With little to no room at all, and nailing it, and not getting anybody hurt.
Yeah, dude, what the hell? Like, it was just. And I'll start with you, Kyle. What do you think of the match as a whole, including that spot?
I knew this match going into it, that this was going to be a match of the night candidate, like one of them, and it nailed everything. They did such a great job. They went above and beyond what I thought this match was going to be, because we all knew it was going to be Falls Count Anywhere. So, okay, they're going to go up the stage. They're going to go into the crowd. They're going to do crazy stuff. They did so much in this, from weapons to was it the thumbtack knee pads?
Oh my god, yeah.
Christian Christian at his age jumping off like 15 feet high onto ceramic floor over Cutler, Nakazawa, and I think it was Nick Jackson. So, like, for Christian to do that at his age, come on, man. On concrete floor, there's no padding there. He climbed up, and this man at his age was able to do that and still continue on. The match was incredibly insane. And if you guys didn't see, if you watch BTE, you actually get to see how Christian and Nick got up there. There's footage in BT of them going through the back, fighting in an elevator, running that like Nick is running away from Christian through the concession stands, and they
That's
got
why
all the way to
BT
that
is
point.
so great.
Yeah.
right?
Shout
'Cause
out to
Brandon
Two
records everything.
Contract Cutler, man.
Yeah, he had to
Yes.
run.
He was running for that
You
shot.
can hear him. Oh wait, that's all you can hear.
I gotta get Nick. I gotta get Nick.
I love it, dude. I love it.
Oh.
But Jackie, what'd you think of the match?
It was insanity, pure insanity. I die inside a little bit every time somebody gets a handful of thumbtacks shoved in their mouth.
Oh,
I'm like, I don't care. Like,
Oh.
I try to rationalize and think like, okay, well, maybe they're not real thumbtacks. Maybe it's like a little like gimmicked a little bit, but it's just like it doesn't matter. It's the visual of it that just like it. I die.
Yeah. No
Every
Cell
single
Phil was
time.
like, oh, he could swallow that. Like he was screaming. Like
That's
he
what
was
I'm always thinking. I'm like,
screaming.
what if you swallowed and then you swallowed thumbtacks? Then what? Like, how do you even cut back from it?
listen,
But,
I see Ant in the chat doing a shout out count. Let's shout out to Jamie Strange because let me fucking tell you something. Jungle Boy walked out there with those goddamn jeans on, and I got hot flashes. So
Yo, that's what I was saying. I
That's
was
a
like,
jungle man, damn it.
It didn't even dawn on me that it's a no holds barred false count anywhere kind of match that we would see Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus in denim. Like that
Yep.
didn't even.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I didn't know I needed this, but hey, I'm here for it.
Yep.
But yeah, that was just like Nick Jackson and his freaking pink mustache. Another thing you should catch on BTE was the making of that freaking mustache. Freaking hilarious.
Great.
But there was one thing that like I kept questioning, and I don't know if it's just because he's ultra babyface. Jungle Boy and his hesitation to hit the concerto twice. Like first time he missed the opportunity because he stalled. Second time he begrudgingly did it. And I'm like, what story are they trying to tell here with him not wanting to hit Adam Cole with a chair?
They're trying to give him a little bit of edge, a little bit of fire, right? He's such
Yeah.
the uber baby face, right? We've seen this story in NXT before with Bailey, right? Where they're like, Bailey is such a good guy. She doesn't want to break the rules. But like sometimes, when you're in these heated storylines, you got to push further, right? You got to do things that are out of your character when, you're being attacked. And I think I personally loved it because I love that. Like Jungle Boy is such like for teenagers and kids, right? But like, and everybody knows how good he is, right? Everyone wants to work with him, especially Adam Cole. So let's give him a little bit of an edge, right? And having him do
Right.
the concerto, I think was great.
Yeah, no,
Bit of an
I
edge.
enjoyed the spot.
Oh yeah, good point.
Boy. No, it was, see
Good
what
point.
you did there. No, I'm like I thought it was a good thing, like, but it was more like I was questioning: was it a callback to something that I missed, or was it just him, like going over, like you said, getting that extra edge, because he is such a pure, unadulterated freaking baby face.
Oh, the
But
day he goes
overall-
heel is gonna be a big deal.
Yeah, overall,
Never.
they
He
the
will.
Jurassic
Of course he will.
Express and Christian were my picks to win. And I'm so glad that they did because I feel like they really needed the win to gain that momentum, push Jungle Boy to the freaking moon. And but overall, freaking phenomenal match. Lost my breath several times.
Oh,
So
yeah.
great.
Now, speaking of phenomenal matches, let's go to a match that
Oh, is AJ
a lot of
Styles
us
here?
thought, well, yeah, a lot of us thought had the potential to be a match of the night, and that's Malachi Black and Andrade versus Pac and Cody Rhodes. Kyle, what'd you think of this match?
Oof. This was, again, like I just said in the last match, this was one of the ones where I'm like, okay, this could be match of the night too. The whole time I was just like, damn, man, like the crowd, I was laughing for most of this match at the crowd's reaction to whenever Cody got tagged in or whenever Cody did something in this match. The crowd booed the hell out of Cody Rhodes, and
Every time.
And
Crazy.
I quote it all the time. He's John Cena himself, to be honest.
Yep.
He's the baby face that gets booed. And he's gotten to that point because I really don't know how it's really gotten to this point. I can't really. I'm trying to think back. I'm like, where did I pinpoint? Where was the first time he started getting booed? Was it like when he first started doing the.
It was the after he did the that like American promo against
Yeah,
it was
against
the Go-Go
Go-Go.
food. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's where it started.
So, like, are the crowd just booing him now to get him to go heel, or are they booing him because from that and they're never going to stop booing him?
I think they're just booing him to be cool.
I think
Okay.
it's a
It's a
mob
cool
mentality
thing. Yeah,
situation.
it's a cool thing to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's hilarious, and I love that he feeds off it. I love that he's not overreacting to it, and he did tease the pedigree run. That's right, I said in the chat there. I love that he teased the pedigree, and then the commentators kind of like threw it to the side, and then, he tried to go for the Tiger Driver 67 or whatever it was. And I'm like, no, we know what he was trying to do. We all know what he was trying to do. It was a great match. Great match. I thought it was entertaining. I thought Team Black was going to win here. I really did. But they gave Pac the big nod with the victory here. And I'm very, very interested to see where Black goes from here, because big things I noticed out of this was his entrance was, it's probably one of the best entrances in the company. It is so well produced. The makeup's gotten bigger. It's now half of his forehead is painted. So it's basically almost half his face, and the eye he puts that contact in, and the horns are huge too.
Yeah, they're bigger.
They're thicker. And
they're more like devil horns now than they used to be, kind of like antlers. Like,
he looks so good. I think I saved a picture on my phone. Someone took like a really nice shot and edited it, and I'm like, oh my god, these photo edits of Black's entrance are everything. And the best
Rob's
part,
pictures,
incredible,
perfection.
But the best part of this whole thing with Malachi Black is it's all him. Look what happens when you give this guy the creative freedom. Look what he creates, and it's amazing. So I cannot wait for Ant popped me in the chat. Sorry, I cannot wait for the future of Malachi Black and House of Black. Apparently, he and Eddie Kingston were hurt. I read that it wasn't serious. They just didn't fly to do the signings on Sunday, so hopefully it's not too bad. Maybe take a week or two to rest up. But I'm very interested to see where Black goes from here. I don't know if he continues with Cody, or is this partnership with Andrade going to end automatically, because they kind of just partnered up for Full Gear. I'm very curious to see, but I like the match. I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, Jackie, what did you think?
So I literally audibly gasped when Malachi Black's entrance hit. There's something about the imagery of it. It's just so breathtakingly. I don't want to say beautiful because it's so dark, but it's just like.
It's like watching a demonic movie, like a very demonic movie. I get that same feeling.
Yeah, it's just it takes your breath away. That's all I can describe it as. I liked the fact that they played to the dissension in both teams, because you're thinking these are two teams that are thrown together. Would they really be working together if it wasn't for the fact that they have a common agenda? Probably not. Cody, man, like you said, like, I actually feel bad sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, because the level of hate that this guy gets is like, I think it's so unnecessary at this point. Even when he was calling back to Dusty Rhodes and he was, hitting his punches, doing a little jive, and then, I was like, I thought for sure that the crowd would have at least cheered for that nod to his dad. They booed the shit out of him through that. And I'm
mob mentality, like you said.
It really is the mob mentality. It's become the cool, edgy thing to boo him. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't justifiable reasons to dislike the character. Obviously, different strokes for different folks. I just think the level of intensity of it is because everybody's picking up on it and they're just, doing it.
Just something to do.
Yeah, I'm not typically a fan of these types of matches where you have two tag teams that are just kind of thrown together. It furthered the story. Did I love the match as much as I thought I would? Not really. It was well done for what it was. There were a lot of great spots in that match, like, oohs and ahs. Pac is freaking inhuman, completely inhuman with the stuff that he does for a guy that's his build. So it was well done. I'll say that. Was it, I guess I had higher expectations of it, we'll say. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was awesome, right? To piggyback on what you guys were saying, it was a great match. I think that this match suffered from fatigue, right? I think that, all the stuff that came before it, I think the crowd just didn't have a match to kind of calm down in. So they picked this one because they were kind of quiet at spots. And then, like we keep saying, it's just this mob mentality. And to me, it's so stupid because, like, then you go on Twitter and people are like, I met Cody once. He was awesome. I love Cody, this and this. But then when you're in a room full of people, you're like, boo, yeah, boo everything he does. Like, whatever. People are getting tired of him, fine. But, like, he's not in the world title picture. He's not in the TNT title picture. He's not in the tag team title picture. he's just a part of the show.
And he's not winning all the time. He's not picking
like
up all these
he didn't win
victories,
for like 4 months. Like it's fine. And even though him and Pac won this match, he didn't get the pinfall. Pac got the pinfall. So like him and Alistair or him and Malachi were in the crowd. Like they took each other out. So and you know it furthers the storyline between Pac and Andrade, between Cody and Malachi. Like there's all this stuff that they got going on, which I think is awesome. And I don't know if Malachi is the one who posted this or somebody posted an article about it, but they were saying that like the stuff that Malachi has planned going forward is gonna take it to an even higher level.
I hope so.
Sure hope so.
I hope he like goes.
Awesome.
I hope he starts recruiting people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like starts like getting people recruited and like maybe these people's faces start getting painted half. You know, like half something. Like they start getting into like a demonic state. A House of Black stable with that entrance, if they can do something along those lines.
Yeah, they're talking about that in the chat. I'm seeing Nate says potentially Abaddon.
Well, he did say in an interview, Malachi did say in an interview somewhere that Butcher and Blade and Abaddon are people that he would like. I know Brody King recently being released from Ring of Honor is rumored because him and Brody King are tag team champions in I think PWG. So there's a lot of options out there, a lot of great things. I wouldn't want to see Butcher and Blade get taken away from Bunny because I love them three. So and Bunny's like a creepy character anyway, so she would also fit with the House of Black.
Her with like makeup on and in the same creepiness. Oh,
that's what I'm saying. It'd be great, and she's a big horror fan, so it'd be awesome. But obviously, Abaddon would fit in perfectly there. It'd be great. But now going from that match to Danielson versus Miro, right? There was a lot of talk of who would win, right? Because we all figured Moxley would be winning this. So, like, do you want Danielson to win? If Hangman's also winning, because you get the face versus face, are we going to go with Miro here because Miro's technically in the Moxley spot? You know, with the great promo that Miro cut, does this mean that like he kind of has to win to further his story? But I ultimately think they went with the best decision in Danielson. You know, we don't know when their match will take place. But I think it'd be really cool if Hangman was the first one to beat Danielson, to give him a little, like he beat Kenny, he beats Danielson. We give him a further push to like kind of jumpstart his title reign. But Jackie, do you think they went with the right decision here with having Danielson win?
I think they did. Danielson was my pick in our predictions to win. I think they were good about subtly telling stories here where Miro still came across as this monstrous badass. Like if you'll notice, like Danielson, you could see his hesitation in between moves, like where he's kind of like coming back from an offense and then he's looking like, I got to change my strategy up because I got to come at this guy with something completely different than what I've been doing before because he's unlike any opponent I've ever faced before. I love the fact that they hit the label lock and the game over and both men escaped from each other's, you know, respective submission holds. Everybody came across very strong in this match. It wasn't like nobody got dumbed down or like, you know, kind of had to eat that loss. Miro never tapped out. So it keeps Miro looking strong, especially because we know that Danielson is on such a run right now where he is unstoppable. So I kind of liked Ant's prediction last week about Miro winning and, you know, being the heel to Hangman's baby face going forward. But I had a feeling that wasn't going to happen. I felt like Danielson is still on his run. He was going to win. Side note to this match, though, and I want your guys' opinions on this because I feel like this is a little bit of a controversial take.
Oh, boy.
A part of me wishes that the fans would start to stray away from the yes chant and start leaning a little more into the you're going to get your fucking head kicked in chant. When it comes to Danielson, I know that.
Don't you think they're kind of leaning away from it already? I don't think the yeses are as.
Oh, they were heavy this pay-per-view.
They were happening at the beginning, like during Danielson's entrance, and I'm just like, it's not that like it's an endearing part of his history.
He teased it mid-match. He was like raising his hands up like the yes, but he wasn't exactly doing it. But the crowd was doing it at the same time. It's like, you know, it's coming back. I get this stupid handshake deal he's got with Vince has me all but mad and angry about it. I know he's being the respectful guy, and Vince went up to it and said, look, can you not do the yes chant? And Daniel, being a nice guy, agreed to not do it. But come on, man. Like, it's just a stupid chant.
But to me, it's not even about that. It's almost like about like embracing Bryan Danielson versus Daniel Bryan. And it's like, yes, I understand that is a part of his history, but it's like, let's take it to the next level and create a new chapter here.
I just don't think it's ever going to go.
That's my personal opinion. Nobody has to agree with me. I just feel like it would really just, like I said, cement this new version or this new chapter of his
I think it's
career.
just like if he wouldn't, but if Stone Cold came in here and you wanted to get rid of the what chant, it would never stop.
Yeah, it's a part of them.
Yeah.
It's a part of them. It's just kind of what it is. Now, before I get your take, Kyle, so something that I noticed during this match, and I'm very interested if you guys or people in the chat think the same way. I don't know if it's different camera angles or just how wrestlers are perceived in AEW, but like there's moments in the match where, and they do this with Pac too in all his matches, but it's like the size difference between Danielson and Miro didn't seem as big as it used to in WWE. Like in WWE, Miro always looked like he towered over him. Like he was so much bigger than him. But there was moments where like they're hitting each other and Danielson only looked a little bit smaller than him. Like obviously like he's bigger than him, but like height wise, the difference I don't know if it was they were shooting it from a certain angle, but like when Miro has his arms up and Danielson's kicking him in the side, like the size difference didn't seem that much.
Yeah, I see
know
that.
What you guys think?
No. I know exactly what you mean. And now thinking back on the match, I do think, yeah, I do see that, and I think it's got to be it's straight up camera angles. It is straight up camera angles. So yeah,
I think it's cool.
I think
they
so
just
too.
both look like they look like competitors that would be fighting each other instead of like, oh, this dude's way bigger than him.
I mean,
like,
they didn't even need camera angles because Miro literally dominated 85% of that match. It was all Miro from the get-go. Miro literally was playing with his food for like the first 15 minutes of that match. And I was sitting there, I'm looking at my buddy going, oh my God, like Miro is whooping Bryan's ass. Like Bryan has not, it's all been Bryan in the beginning of his matches so far, or like a good heavy back and forth up until this match where he made Miro look like an absolute star for being quickly put into this tournament. And, you know, they did such a well job of producing this match to a T. And I think this is one of my favorite matches of the night. And they both literally beat the living hell out of each other. And it goes to show you again, I'm loving this Bryan Danielson where he can beat you with any move at any time in the match.
Yep.
I absolutely love that. With any kind of move, he can beat you, and that's what makes him dangerous. And they got to keep doing this, and I know they're going to keep doing this. We're going to see like a million different ways that Bryan's won matches in AEW. It's not always going to be the labella lock. It's not always going to be the running knee. He's going to win with some crazy submission move. He watched a New Japan match last week, and he took that, and he's going to win with that match, or with that one. And I don't know if anyone's seen the press conference after at Full Gear. First words out of his mouth, he's like, I know everyone, there's young talent here and stuff. He's like, I'm not here to put them over. I'm here to whoop their ass.
Yep.
Hey,
yeah.
Let him know.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm loving this.
That new aggressive side of Danielson, and it's a throwback to his Ring of Honor days, but like the best in the world, Bryan Danielson is back, and like
because he's in his prime. He's in his prime. This is Bryan Danielson's prime. He's in right now. He's not a veteran at the end of his career looking to put over talent. No. He wants to beat that younger talent to continue being in his prime and to get to that world title.
I mean, look at the year he's had, right? Yeah. Best wrestler of the year. No one's had better matches this year than him. It is just on another level. Now we go to the last match that we're talking about tonight. And I saved it for the last for a reason. Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk came into this pay-per-view with very minimum build. But it was, if not for Hangman and Kenny, I think, personally, the most looked forward to match of the night. The story was on fire. It was emotional.
Yeah.
Everyone had stakes in it, right? And as we saw in the match, people were cheering for Eddie over Punk.
Heavy.
And shout out to Punk.
They were.
for doing the John Cena spot.
Oh my God.
Just to piss over the crowd.
I waited
piss
for
off
it.
the crowd.
I wanted him to do it so bad. I'm like, just do it. You
it's so
can't
great.
see me.
It's so great. But Jackie, you're the Eddie Kingston fan. How did it feel? How emotional did you get during this match?
It was very emotional, but in a different kind of way. I feel like Eddie has this uncanny ability to make you feel whatever it is he's feeling in that moment. When CM Punk is coming to the ring and you look and the camera hones in on Eddie Kingston's face, he has the most sinister grin on his face. He's like, the minute he got into the ring, there was no pomp and circumstance, not that there ever is with him, but he just like was like, I'm making a beeline for the ring, get in there, and he's throwing the hands up like, let's freaking go, bring him out. So it just like from the jump had this tension in it. I think this match was obviously really hard hitting and really like, I don't want to say gory, but like, it was a lot of blood and everything like that. But this match to me was so much about the visuals.
Punk's first blade since Ring of Honor.
Yeah, like
really?
Eddie taking his hand and streaking it on Punk and then streaking his own face with Punk's blood. The visual of, CM Punk looking towards the camera. He's all bloodied up and his eyes are wide and he looks deranged, completely.
And this is the Punk that people wanted to see, right?
Yeah.
We're getting it. And to kind of go back to what you said before, like listen, if you want to make an organic baby face that kind of, appeals to the everyman, appeals to diehard wrestling fans who just want to see a fight and all this stuff, especially indie wrestling fans, right? Having somebody put his hand on a bloody face and then wipe it over his face like he's in fucking Sparta, right? Or just Vikings or something. That's going to pop in the chat if he's still here, right? Game of Thrones. Like, this dude is like, he's just here for the fight. Like, and he said it too last week. Like, oh, I'm not here to win or lose. Like, I'm just here for the fight. Like, that is how you get somebody over a different way than you would a super baby face like a Hangman Page or a Tyler or something like that. So I think it's just epic storytelling. That's something that Eddie Kingston probably just did on the fly, which you gotta love. Why you gotta love Eddie Kingston for that?
Yeah, he's in the moment at all times. It's like it's not like in the moment as in I'm gonna play to the crowd to do something that's gonna really pop them. It's like, no, this is like me on all the way up to 10, fully aggressive, and I love that about Eddie. I didn't think he was gonna win this match, and he didn't. And I really hope that this is just part 1 to this saga because I need this to continue. This cannot be a one and done situation. I just love what's happening with Punk too, in terms of now him tilting out of that ultra happy-go-lucky baby face, which made sense at the time. I'm not knocking that. It absolutely made sense for him to come in with that attitude. But let's see it turned up a little bit. Let's see that aggressive side turned up.
Yeah, and listen, I couldn't agree with you more. I want to see a trilogy between them three. I want this feud to end at Revolution. Give me a couple more months of this. You could have them do stuff. Maybe Punk goes to move on, and you have Kingston be like, no, this isn't over yet. Like, this isn't over till I say it's over, and let's get some time into this. But Kyle, what'd you think of it?
I think Jackie nailed it too when she said tension. The tension was extremely high in this match. Shout out to Punk for wearing some fight shorts. Kind of a nod back to his Ring of Honor days when he used to wear the long shorts. I don't know if he's ever going to go try to wear those again, but I saw a lot of people make the connection there. So he's kind of just had 3 different attires so far, and I think he's just like I think he's messing with people because he clearly messes with people on Twitter, saying it might like the one match he's like it may be a long boy day because he knows people hated the long boys.
Did you see when he blamed it on Anna Jay? Like, oh, it was her fault. Yeah. She's the one who picked it backstage.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tension like right before ring, like Eddie Kingston attacked Punk before the bell rung, and I'm like, oh, okay, so they're really going for this match, and they put on a stellar match, and it was all that I could ask for between these two. I think the one thing that would have made it perfect, we knew who was in the press box watching. Scouting was Team Taz. What would have been perfect is Punk, bloody face and all, grabbing the mic, looking up to the press box and go, send Hook, and drop the mic.
Kyle's just dying.
That would have
for
been
Send
the
Hook.
best moment of the entire pay-per-view. I would have marked out huge. Just say send Hook and drop the mic and stare down Hook at the press box. That's how you set up between those two, because people are
what's
waiting for
funny,
that.
too, like, it sounds ridiculous, but AEW is a company that does stuff based on fan interaction on social media. Like, we saw they made a storyline out of the Suzuki thing of not playing his full music, and they made it like a whole thing. So, like, it sounds crazy what Kyle's saying, but that could have very well happened. Like, it could have easily happened.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I'm like, oh my god, they showed earlier that they're in the press box, quote unquote, scouting, and like Hook's just chilling there, and I'm sitting there going, oh my god, can Punk? I told my buddy, I'm like, can Punk just grab the mic at the end and just say send Hook? Because Punk knows about that Twitter account. He knows about that Twitter account that puts the video of him saying send Hook at least 3 times a day, every single day of the week.
Right.
So that's got to be known. And that would have popped the crowd. That would have got the crowd but would have made a massive pop if that had to happen. And I think that was like a missing thing there. I'm like, even if I don't know why they're not doing this right away, because it's just Hook. This is not like they're not going to fight at a pay-per-view, these two. This is going to be a Dynamite or Rampage, or a special Dynamite or Rampage. It's going to be a special event. It's not going to be a pay-per-view. Why not just end it and just say send Hook and drop the mic? That would be awesome. But a continuing feud I'm still open to. Apparently, it was in the chat. I did read that earlier, too, that Eddie Kingston wrestled with a partial separated shoulder. So I don't know how long he's going to be out for. So if it is long-term, Punk has a million different people that he can go and have a feud with. And there's a bunch of people that I would love to see CM Punk go up against and maybe have feuds with. So I'm all for it. I can't wait for the future with CM Punk, because, it's been like 5 or 6 matches, and he's starting to look like he's back. He's ready to go now. Like, there was like the ring rust, obviously, in the first couple of matches. We're waiting him to get back to that speed. I've seen he's gained a lot more stamina, and it's all coming back to him. So I think Punk's ready to go now. Start elevating him to a higher feud. Go into overdrive. Start going to something else.
I think Eddie would have been it was a kind of, I don't want to say he's a stepping stone, but it's a catalyst moment where now it's like he's kicked it up to that next level. There's no going back now. You're not going to go back to the lesser
if
opponents.
Adam Cole is not in a storyline with a title, give us Cole and Punk.
Oof. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Please. That would be
Revolution,
right?
one-on-one. Give it to us. Yeah.
Awesome. So now as we wind down the show, any final thoughts? I'll start with you, Jackie, because I know you got a great promo to cut against Bleacher Report. So go ahead, because we're clipping this out and we're tagging them in it.
No,
Go ahead, Jackie.
Please do. See, because like I wanted to be like positive and talk about like some high points in the the thing. But if you want to just go for the dirt, we'll go.
We're going for the dirt first. We're gonna end strong.
End on a high. All right. Dear AEW.
Hi.
It's me again. You didn't answer my last letter about the picture-in-picture, but I'm gonna let that slide. AEW has got to do something about this freaking connection with Bleacher Report. I know that there's probably a whole legality thing behind it, who owns what company and whatever, like maybe they're tied into some kind of contract. Bleacher Report delivered probably the worst freaking pay-per-view experience I've had in a long time. I have not had an issue on anything. Like, I know I ordered All Out on Fight, but I ordered it on Fight because freaking Bleacher Report was having so many damn problems. So they had to let people get it on Fight. I was seeing people complaining that the first part of the pay-per-view completely glitched out for them. Somebody said they had to buy the pay-per-view twice. They had receipts that says that they were charged twice. But in order to get the pay-per-view, they had to like make a secondary purchase. The replay right after, like typically you get an on-demand version replay immediately after the show is over. An image came up that says the replay will be available soon. I don't know what Bleacher Report's definition of soon is, because it was midday on a Sunday and the replay still wasn't up. They had to do damage control and start doing a live replay of it to kind of pacify people in the meantime, plus make it available for the replay for purchase on Fight. It was a freaking cluster fuck. It was so bad. So for me, that I didn't get to see Full Gear live because I had a previous engagement to tend to, I thought, well, once the pay-per-view is over, I'm going to immediately watch back what I missed. Wasn't so. I was trying to scramble to find a way because I'm like, how am I going to recap a show that I didn't even watch?
Yeah.
And thankfully, and this is the biggest shout out ever to Carrie, because Carrie was like on it like a mission. She was like, here's my login, try this, like, whatever. And she finally got me the hookup. So Carrie came through. I love her to death, because if it wasn't for her, I probably would have not seen Full Gear in its entirety before we had to do this damn show. I really hope that either they figure something out with Bleacher Report, like get your stuff together, or just completely do it exclusively on Fight, because I cannot freaking deal with this again.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
So do you guys, is it easy for you Americans to get Fight TV?
Yes.
It's not available on Fight, though.
Oh, it is for me.
Yeah, well, it's only available internationally.
Oh, so Fight doesn't show the pay-per-view in the...
It did. It used to. When it was on Bleacher Report Live, it also showed on Fight. But since Bleacher Report Live doesn't exist anymore and it's just all Bleacher Report now, it's been on Bleacher Report. However, like Jacky said, at All Out, people were having trouble ordering it. So the day of, they were like, okay, fine, we'll open it up on Fight. And a lot of people got it there. Now, I ordered All Out on Bleacher Report, no problems. I ordered Full Gear on Bleacher Report, no problems, except, of course, with my luck, it froze during Ty Conti and Brit Baker. I had to back out completely and come all the way back in because I watched through my Xbox. Now, a big problem also is, just like Fight, Bleacher Report is not on Apple TV. It's not on Amazon Fire Stick. So
it is up here.
For you, it is. But
I
for
get
me,
Fight TV everywhere up
Canada.
here.
So I was watching it through my Xbox, and I was having a lot of troubles ordering it because I would order it and then it would make me sign out, and it's a weird app. I know there's talks about them having their own streaming service, AEW, next year. I hope that listen, if we all need to say what we don't like about the Bleacher Report thing, because Tony Khan will fix it. He's shown in the past that they're very quick to fix things like this. And listen, it's messing with people's money. I see people in the chat talking about illegal streams. Don't do that, all right? Spend your money. There's only 4 pay-per-views a year. I understand
it pays $50. The wrestlers. The wrestlers get a cut, so pay the wrestlers.
I understand it's $50, and we're used to the WWE model of $10 a month, but there's only 4 a year. There isn't one every 2 weeks. There's 4 a year. Save up your money. Please buy the pay-per-views. Plus, these are incredible cards, right? This is just as incredible as All Out, just as incredible as Double or Nothing, just as incredible as Revolution. Even though Revolution was a little weird this year, but we won't talk about that. Everything else incredible. But you want to see this in the best quality. You don't want your stream to cut out and then you have to find another stream and then it gets taken down. Like, nah, you need to see these things as they happen live because you never know who could show up. I mean, at All Out, we had those 3 great surprises. At Full Gear, we had Jay Lethal. That was a huge surprise. Buy the pay-per-view. Don't be cheap.
Yeah, look what was in the chat. If you got a group of friends together, chip in, or if you got like a loved one or something like that, ask them to chip in and watch the pay-per-view. And if not, if you're watching alone, pay it. You got four events a month. It's not once a month. 4 events, a year.
4 events a month. Jesus Christ.
Overkill.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's that easy, guys. Come on, support. But yeah, Jacky, it does suck. I hope they do figure out something for you guys in the US. Like, I don't understand why they don't open it up to Fight TV, because that's strange that that's not an option for you guys, because Fight TV has been the simplest thing I've ever used in my entire life, and it's available everywhere. It's on my Fire Stick, it's on my Xbox, it's on a browser, like everything.
Right. When it was on Bleacher Report Live, there were no issues whatsoever. Never had an issue with it. When they switched over, first of all, it's impossible to even freaking find it. Like, if I searched AEW Full Gear to try to buy the pay-per-view, it wouldn't even come up in the search. So it's just there was so many freaking things that were completely wrong with it. I really hope that they get it sorted out before Revolution, because I don't want to deal with that again.
Yeah, dude, it's the worst. But let's end this show on a high note. So I'll go to you, Kyle, first. What are your highs from Full Gear?
My highs from Full Gear.
Good memories.
Oh man. A lot of the entrances were nailed, on point, pay-per-view feel type entrances. A lot of the matches over-delivered, which is a good thing. And I think they ended the story with Hangman and Adam Page, or Hangman and Kenny Omega.
Hangman and Adam Page.
They nailed the end of that
Rightfully so.
story perfectly with the Bucks coming out, doing the nod of approval to Hangman twice, and then him winning the belt, and then throwing down the beer and hugging the Dark Order and celebrating with them. They nailed the end of that storyline perfectly. They nailed it on the head. They did everything good. This was a very well, properly structured pay-per-view from start to finish. Nothing felt rushed. Everything felt great, and they had exceptional matches. It was an amazing pay-per-view.
Jackie?
All right. So I picked 3 different things, and I tried not to go with necessarily the match itself because we discussed that enough. But one, Malachi Black's ring entrance, personal high for me. I'm on the freaking Malachi Black bandwagon.
Oh, also, I gotta announce that I'm also on the now Jamie Hater bandwagon. I've officially jumped. Someone caught me and they dragged me on, so I'm on there. So I ordered the shirt. Haters gonna hate. I'm officially a Jamie Hater fan.
Hell yeah.
So the Bucks role in the Hangman match, I thought that was absolutely done to perfection. That beautiful storytelling, the fact that they can tell an entire story without saying a damn word. It's all facial expressions. That was a perfect little, cherry on top to that match. But one of my highest personal highs would be the tributes to Eddie Guerrero throughout the entire pay-per-view. I just thought that was a really, really classy thing. And I won't say for AEW to do. I'm going to put that on the wrestlers themselves because I'm sure that those were their decisions to give those nods to, to a freaking tremendous one-of-a-kind wrestler that we'll never, ever see again. Can't believe it's been 16 years, but shout out to everybody that did their nod to Eddie in their matches.
So for me, my personal highs, I agree with you guys. The Hangman Kenny story, it was perfection, right?
Right.
It's one of the things I love most about AEW. They don't let fans knowing the outcome, like fans, we all want this, we're fantasy booking this, ruin them finishing the story the right way. So I love that. Of course, the Ty Conti performance, that's there. But the one thing we didn't mention this whole time that I definitely want to shout out, the stage.
Oh, yeah.
I've been a big person of, I wish they would do different stages for the pay-per-views. Even if they keep, even if this is the Full Gear stage going forward, it's always this. I want it to look different than Dynamite and Rampage because the stages always look the same. Mm-hmm. And with only 4 pay-per-views a year, it's you have more than enough time of doing it. And I'm not talking about Double or Nothing where it's just a Dynamite stage with poker chips around it. Yeah. I want to see different setup. And I love the way the stage looked. So huge shout out to that because it was really cool because you felt like you were in a different event and a different thing. And I hope when they do Battle of the Belts at in the beginning of January, that big show, that the stage is different for that too. Let's get some. You're making some money, all right, Tony Khan. You're making some money on this.
You already have money to begin with.
Yeah, your little startup business is starting to make some money. Let's put it into these stages, all right?
You look at WWE, you look at your competition there. I will say it's competition. They got a giant freaking Titantron screen. I don't care. It still looks awesome. Do something crazy. Do something nuts. Revolution. Give us something crazy.
Yeah, theme it out a little bit.
Yeah. But, Phil, do you want to do the honors of letting people know where they can get more Elite POV content?
So if you guys are listening to this back on all of our podcast platforms, you can follow us and watch the show live, twitch.tv/Elite POV, where you could participate in the live chat like all the great people we have listening live right now. Also, we open up a Patreon, patreon.com/Elite POV. We have great content up there. If you guys missed it last week, Kyle did an incredible interview with Ant talking about his journey from All Elite Podcast to now Elite POV. That is a must listen. And also publicly, I know I said this to them privately, but publicly, just shout out to Jackie and Jamie for an incredible episode of Top Girl Talk. Listen, Jackie never had any podcast experience, and to hear her do an absolutely incredible job hosting the show warmed my heart.
Oh my
Great
God,
first episode.
Phil.
It is a must listen. Those 2 shows alone are the reason why you guys should sign up to the Patreon. If you guys are watching the Twitch chat right now, we have the feed up of all the different tiers. to give you guys. We have a bunch of stuff coming for you guys. If you guys want to see different stuff from us, you got to let us know on our Twitter at Elite POV, on our Instagram at Elite POV as well, to get all this great stuff. It is going to be a huge year in 2022 for all of us. So make sure you guys follow us and the show and everything we have going on. If you want to follow me, it's at Phillium Elite. Kyle, let them know where they can follow you.
You guys can follow me at All Elite Kyle on Twitter. The only All Elite Kyle on Twitter you got to follow right now. Speaking of Patreon, me and actually Jamie Strange, our social media coordinator, I think I'm going to call her, behind the scenes.
Yep.
We have something really big planned. It has to do with, if you guys ever heard the snack crate, we've got them ordered and on the way. So you guys are going to want
wait for that.
Subscribe to the Patreon, guys. Little as $1 a month. You can subscribe to the $1 tier. That supports us here on the show and gets you access to the content on there. There are other tiers with other awesome rewards for the other tiers that you just subscribe to. But guys, we are going to pump out so much content in the next couple of months, and in 2022, you guys are not going to want to miss us. Do not miss this bus. Hop on with us, because we are taking this podcast into the next level, folks. So you can follow me at All Elite Kyle again. But make sure you are also, mostly importantly, following this podcast on Patreon and on Twitter, Elite POV.
Jacky, let them know where they can follow you.
Damn, how do you follow all that?
It's almost like he used to host his own show or something.
Right?
It's the reason why I got
Trying to
signed.
show us up. That's what we hired you for, Kyle. So you can find me on Twitter at LoveYouMake24. And you can find me on Instagram at JacksToDrawPOV. We are also on TikTok, for those of you who use TikTok, at Elite POV Clips. Like Kyle and Phil said, we are really going to take this to the next level when it comes to, we don't want to just be a podcast. We want to be your source for all types of AEW content. And I'm just like, I am so personally hyped, and I hope that you guys will come on this journey with us, because it's going to be freaking amazing.
And with that, we say goodbye. Thank you guys for listening. And remember, you don't need a hat to be a cowboy.